Hey everybody, it's Lee here with the pull list for May 7th, 2014, presented by LongboxRadio.com. First off, let's just get this off our chest right here. Longbox Radio as a website, as a podcast, will now cease to exist. Dun dun dun! But this YouTube channel is not going anywhere. Basically, it was just too much on the plate. If my other endeavors being ToSeeIceberg.com, which is a pop culture podcast, still going on. TBA, we're expanding. We're going to make that from just a podcast into a full video game news site. But as far as comic books are concerned, I just couldn't find the people or the time to sit down and do a regular podcast. But the pull list will continue. The pull list will become more robust. I'm going to talk more about news and stuff in it. Cover some toys and stuff as well. And basically turn this pull list video into a little snippet of a podcast every week. So that's going to be what it's going to be. So if you have any favorite Longbox Radio podcast moments, please share them below to ease my aching heart. But that is the first news right off the bat. So Longbox Radio, the website will soon redirect us right to the YouTube page, and that's where everything's going to go down as far as comic books are concerned. But speaking of comic books, oh my god, do I have stuff to talk about. So Fan Expo Regina, that's the thing that happened. Regina, the capital city of Saskatchewan, the province, in case you're not Canadian listening to this. This is also apparently the official sweater of pull list now, because I've been wearing it like in the majority of them. But anyways, they had a Fan Expo. It was the first time out doing it. I was working there, and then of course the weekend before that was Calgary Expo. So I'm going to sit down at some point and talk about both these events. But suffice to say, Regina had a really good turnout for the small population. They also had some really good guests, surprisingly, for their first time out. One of which being Jeff Lemire, who I got a sketch from. You'll see in a moment. But then Yannick Paquette was there, and I went ham on Yannick Paquette. We got, of course, my Swamp Thing #1 signed. For some of you older comic book fans, or a decade ago, Yannick Paquette also did, I think, Civil War X-Men, for an example of some of his stuff, which is friggin' amazing. So our Animal Man, I have both trades, brought them both with me. I got Jeff Lemire to draw me a Swamp Thing. He wasn't really doing sketches, he was just really doing signings and stuff like that. And then in my second Animal Man trade paperback, I got Yannick Paquette to draw me an Animal Man, which he painted a little bit, but it was like a glossy surface, so it didn't really take. So it actually ended up looking, I think, pretty badass. So that was free, that he did for me in that book. So both my my Animal Man Volume 1 and 2 are now very, very customized. And I also got a commission from Yannick Paquette right there, Anton Arcane. So for the amount of detail and the color and everything, I did not pay a whole hell of a lot for this. And something that Fan Expo does that other Comic-Cons need to start doing is on-site framing. I had no idea how I was going to get this friggin' painting home without crushing it horribly in my bag. And like, for 20 bucks, I got what is actually a pretty solid frame, and it's good to go on the wall after that. So, really cool idea. I highly recommend it. So their Comic-Con was fine. I thought it was quite alright. I got tons of other sketches and stuff like that to share, but we'll do that another time. So, anyways, what did I get from the comic book store today? Well, it was Free Comic Book Day this last week, and I usually like to do a Free Comic Book Day episode, but because I was in Regina, that just didn't happen. But I did get hooked up with some Free Comic Book Day books from the lovely people at Galaxy, so thank you so much. Usually you're only supposed to grab one. They always throw me a bunch aside because I spend a lot of money in their establishment. So thank you very much to them for doing that for me. But what did I actually end up getting here? I just kind of looked at the list quickly, and so we got Kaboom! Summer Blast. I believe this is previews for all their books coming out later in the year. I got the Skyward Midnight Tiger book from Image. Or I guess, is that not from Image? I guess it's just the Skyward book. Okay, sure, why not? From Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. That looks like my boy Nick Bradshaw's art on the front there, but that's pretty cool. Of course, the Guardians push, as that movie's coming out shortly. Rock Raccoon got his own book, which is super cool. And then from DC, we got the New 52 Future's End, which has, I believe, Batman Beyond and a bunch of robot cyborg versions of the Justice League. So that's kind of cool. And then 2000 AD, I guess they did like an Action Huge magazine comic, so I got that as well, and that's what I got for Free Comic Book Day. Pretty cool stuff. So going on to what I picked up today and paid for, Boss Monster. Yeah, do you know about Boss Monster? Boss Monster is a cool tabletop card game. We picked up a copy of it in Calgary. It's best played with 4 people. You can play it from 2 to 3 to 4 people. And basically what it is a card game where you play as a boss monster of a dungeon, and then you build your dungeon to entice heroes to come in, but you also want to kill them before they get to your boss monster and do damage to you. So if you're a fan of RPGs, retro games, tabletop, just a really fast-paced, fun, screw-over-your-neighbor kind of card game, you want Boss Monster. And this is actually the expansion. The main game actually looks like an NES box. This one looks like a Game Boy box, which is pretty cool. And this adds items to the heroes, making them a little more robust, giving them a little more personality, and just deepening the gameplay experience. So I really recommend Boss Monster. And that's actually made by, do they have their names on here? No! Brotherwise Games. So check it out. Most tabletop games and stuff like that. You'll find it there. It's called Boss Monster. So, Boss Monster. Anyway, comic books for today, and I forgot to grab my my Original Sin Eye. You can get a little bouncy rubber ball Original Sin Eye at your comic book store when you pick up Original Sin, which is the last book we'll talk about. But starting with DC, we have Batman Eternal #5. I love Batman Eternal. I read that preview in the regular Batman book, and I'm like, not for me. Read the first 4 issues, and I'm hooked. Here's Batman Eternal #5. I highly recommend it. I don't know when they get back to what that preview promised us, but it's not there yet. Ferris. Feels like it's been a while since a Ferris book, but here we have it, number 26. Coming at us, of course, always very gripping covers. That's really cool. One thing I would plan to do if I had a giant white wall in my house somewhere with nothing on it, frame all the Ferris covers because they're freaking brilliant. And then Swamp Thing number 31 from Charles Soule, of course, and Jesus Saez is doing art now. Still enjoying Swamp Thing. He's having some trouble. He's trapped in the body of a human. Which isn't always the case. And then, of course, Rat Queens, number 6. Rat Queens is back, a book I highly recommend. I got the first trade paperback. I'm hooked. The fiance is loving it. So that's, of course, $3.50. And that's from Curtis Weeb and Rock Upchurch. Again, 2 names that I'm not too familiar with, but there it is. Rat Queens, number 6. Pick it up. These books are going to be worth friggin' something one day, let me tell you. Amazing Spider-Man, Learning to Crawl. I think I remember saying I'm not picking this up, but I did anyways. Slot's bringing it to us. And that's Amazing Spider-Man 1.1. So I believe it's a modern retelling of the origins of Spider-Man. I don't really know, kind of a New 52 kind of thing going on, I guess. But we'll check it out. I think there's more issues of this, so if this one sucks, I'll just stick with the main book, as you always should. Iron Fist, somehow a book that doesn't suck. Iron Fist, The Living Weapon from Kyle Andrews, using the full name there. The first issue was really, really cool. I like the mood of it. I like the action of it. The art's killer. And I don't often find myself saying that about Mr. Andrews. So, really cool stuff. Looking forward to this. Badass cover there. And I dig Iron Fist, so I'm really looking forward to actually reading that issue. So, good on you. Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man. Oh my goodness. So this is number 1. This is from Bendis and Marquez. Free digital code in there. We're going to talk about the free digital codes in a moment, so stay tuned. But yeah, there we go. Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man, number 1. I know recently Sony was asked, hey, does Miles Morales have a place in your Spider-Man universe? This crazy Spider-Man universe they're making based around Amazing Spider-Man. And they said no. And people were like, well, why not? Miles Morales is not nearly... maybe you can introduce him as a side character or something like that, but you wouldn't want to take the spotlight away from Peter Parker at this point, just because you have so much more to establish. And the fact that Miles Morales just isn't that established of a character. If you walked up to someone on the street that casually read comic books, they might not still know who this is. So give it some time, but I would really, really like to see a Miles Morales Spider-Man kind of kick off, or like, start. I don't know how that works with Marvel. Like, do they own Spider-Man? Period. Does Marvel own Miles Morales and Sony own Spider-Man as a whatever? Doesn't matter. Moon Knight, number 3. Warren Ellis, Moon Knight, awesome. Check it out. Sweet book, crazy art, nailing Moon Knight right. I mean, the Bendis and Malif stuff was good, but this is a good follow-up for sure, so check it out. Original Sin, number 1 of 8. Here we go. Jason Aaron, Mike Deodato, Frank Martin, bringing us a freaking Marvel event that I'm very, very excited about. I really dug the 0 issue. Like I said, you can get your rubber ball, which is even more incentive. This is Original Sin, number 1. Really looking forward to it. Really want to talk about it after I read the first issue, because I don't really know where this event is going. So that's cool stuff. We do have a bunch of free digital codes. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man number 1, and Original Sin. Those 2 digital codes can be found at the end of the episode. The other 3 being Learning to Crawl 1, Iron Fist, Living Weapon, and Moon Knight. I will tweet tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central, or slightly, let's say 6 p.m. Central, slightly after that. I tweeted it before posting the video, and that kind of made it unfair. It's just whoever had to be kicking around. So, yeah, Original Sin and Miles Morales you can find at the end of this episode. The other 3 you can find at Longbox Radio, and I'll be tweeting those at 6 p.m. Central tomorrow. So check that out. Thank you always for the support, and continue to watch. We're going to build this pull list into something else, add more features to the YouTube as we see fit, but the podcast will no longer exist. I will consider reposting the podcast episodes on YouTube just so they're accessible, because I believe the website, its entirety, will be brought down, which is based on Mike Haynes' web hosting. And I don't want to throw it on mine and spend more money. It's a monetary thing. It's just all money. Anyways, that is the pull list for this week. We'll see you again next week, where I'm going to talk all about Fan Expo Regina and Calgary Expo. Lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of books to read. That is 1 week of books for me, and that's not even including the free comic book stuff. So I got to get reading tonight, and I can't think of a better thing to do, as it is quite stormy and crappy outside. So happy reading. Thank you for watching.